Hi guys, it's Sean here. I hope everybody's well. Welcome to this week's Spotify Growth Engine live call. I see the chat's already going. I absolutely love it. Today, I want to do something special. There have been so many questions that came up about Facebook's updates in response to iOS 14 that I decided to dedicate this particular call to that topic and walk you through the steps that we as marketers should be taking now with respect to custom domains and updating our custom conversions and the aggregated events measurement tool that Facebook, like all these steps that you want to update step by step in order to make sure that our ads just continue to run smoothly through this update from Facebook, and that we eliminate all these yellow warnings that talk about, domain associated pixel events and stuff like that. So I know a lot of this sounds like crazy technical, but we'll take it step by step and we'll make it easy so that you can follow the exact steps in your account and then set everything up the way it should be in accordance with Facebook's new updates, and then be good to run. It's going to take a couple minutes, right, to set this up. The good thing is it's something you only have to do once. Okay, this is not something you have to worry about with each new campaign that you're launching. It's basically just a one-time setup or one-time changes that you have to make to your setup, and then you're good to run your ads as usual. Okay. After that, we're going to do Q&A, so you can ask me any questions about it, and I will answer them. I will preface this by saying this is all very new. Facebook just rolled this out, and there have been a couple bugs initially. There might still be some bugs that they're trying to get rid of. So I'll do my best to answer any questions that you have. I've done a ton of experiments with these new settings. If I can't answer something right now, I'll let you know, and we'll deliver the answer when I found out the information or did my own test on it. All right, so I hope that's fair enough. And with that said, let's jump in. I'm gonna share my screen, and and you guys are rolling in the chat. I absolutely love it. So let's get going here. Share my screen. Okay, there we go. Let's actually start here, because the question might come up, John, why are we even talking about this? Why is this a topic? Why do I have to worry about updates in Facebook? You may have seen videos that I posted in the Facebook group before. It's not a new topic. It's been, a hot topic for the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. So I want to do a deep dive in it, but essentially what's happening is that Apple announced that with an upcoming version of iOS 14, they're gonna launch something that is called, the App Transparency Tracking Framework. And basically what it means that users who want to engage with any sort of app on their mobile device, if it's an iOS 14 device, they see a little pop-up, and the pop-up basically says, hey, are you okay if this app tracks your data? And some people may opt in, some people may opt out, but this new privacy push by Apple and Facebook's concern about losing access to, obviously, the App Store or advertisers through iOS 14 prompted a lot of updates that Facebook made in order to adhere to those new privacy, to that new privacy framework that Apple is pushing out. And a lot of that has to do with custom domains, limited event tracking, and those kinds of things. I'll touch on this throughout, but basically this is what we're doing. We're doing this because Facebook had to change something, because Apple decided to change something, and that's basically what's causing this whole situation. Apple has not released the version of iOS 14 that does push out this app tracking framework. So it's not something that you have to do right now, right? Everything we're talking about is basically we're preparing for the moment Apple launches this, because then Facebook will have to enforce its response to it. The benefit of setting everything up now as opposed to waiting until Apple pushes this live, though, is that Facebook announced if you make any changes to your setup, once this is already live, they might pause your ads for 72 hours to basically make all the updates and get your tracking stats in order. Anything you update right now, your ads will just continue to run, and there you don't have any sort of artificial 72-hour a pause on any campaigns for Facebook to catch up with data. So I recommend you walk through these steps as quickly as you can, even though it doesn't impact your ads as of right now. All right, so that's what we're doing all this. And it all starts with the domain settings. All right, basically at the heart of it and at the heart of the discussion has been Facebook saying, look, if you want to continue to run conversion optimized ads, which is what we're doing, then we want you to use a custom domain as opposed to a shared domain to record those events as part of your campaign. So they're basically saying, if everybody is using Hypeddit.com, that is a shared domain. There are a lot of people using that same domain, and they don't seem to like that for the purposes of that privacy response that they do. What they want to see is that everybody uses their own custom domain. So that's where it starts. Really, it starts basically outside of Facebook with you registering a custom domain. If you don't have one yet, obviously go out and register one. You can do that. I mean, there's like hundreds of sites. There's obviously, the GoDaddies, the Namecheaps, I think there's domain.com. There's tons of different places where you can register domains. Chances are you already have a custom domain, but if you don't, just go out, get one. It's not expensive, just a few bucks a year. But you will need your own custom domain. All right. And then the next step is that you want to come into Facebook, go into your business settings, and then open up the brand safety section and click on domains. And you'll see an interface that looks something like that. Yours might be empty if you haven't registered a domain yet. And registering a domain is really, really easy, okay? Because all you got to do is you click on add here, and then it asks you what the domain is. Let me just do this here, testfortraining.com, something randomly. And then basically it says that you have to verify your ownership of the domain by doing one of three things. You can do a DNS verification, an HTML verification, or a meta tag verification. What I recommend and find easiest is the DNS verification, because all you have to do is you have to put a DNS record, which is a text record, into your DNS settings. And if you have by any chance connected your domain to Hypeddit yet, then your DNS settings are now in Cloudflare, and so this is really easy to do. Actually, let me see. Maybe I can open this up here real quick. I didn't open that window before, but let me see if I can show you this. Just give me a second. Okay, yeah, there it is. So hold on, let me switch the window that I share real quick for you. Application window. Okay, I'm showing you this for Cloudflare, assuming that you're using Cloudflare in the process of connecting your domain to Hypeddit. And you're familiar with the DNS settings in Cloudflare already. So what Facebook wants is a text record with a specific link that they're giving you. So I'll simulate that for you. Basically what you do in Cloudflare, you click on add record. What you want to do is add a text record in this particular case. So come to TXT here. The name is going to be just the @ like this, and then basically copy paste the unique record that Facebook is giving you and put it in here. I already have my domain verified. This is on the John Gold domain. I already have it verified, so I can't do this for this fantasy domain that I just put into Facebook. But these are the steps. Basically, all you do is then hit the save button to let this DNS setting propagate. And then, again, jumping back into Facebook. And then once that's done, So you give it a few minutes, you just click the verify button, and at that point, your domain is going to be verified. All right, that's the process that you use to verify your domain in Facebook, which is the first step in the process of using custom domains. All right. I'm going to click remove because obviously that was just for the demonstration here. So next, once you have verified your domain in Facebook, you need to make sure that the events from your smart links, your download gates, your link gates, your pre-saves, whatever you're using, these events come from pages that reside on your custom domain. And the way you do this is you set up a custom domain in Hypeddit so that all your Hypeddit links and gates can be served to your fans and your audience using your custom domain as opposed to hypeddit.com. So all you got to do is come over to Hypeddit, go into your account settings, right, which are here. And then once you scroll down, you see the custom domain setup. Some of you may have already done it. Some may have waited for this training. I won't explain the details of this particular process because I'm doing this in this video here. So if you haven't done this yet and you're wondering, hey, how do I connect my custom domain to Hypeddit? Just go into the account settings. I have actually two videos here. One is which explains the benefit of the custom domains. You can watch that here. And the other one walks you through the detailed technical setup steps. And this is here. So I recommend you complete this process. And then at the end, you will have your domain successfully linked to Hypeddit. You see this little success message, and that means you're good to go. All right. So the next step is now that we have a custom domain that's verified and we are able to send events from our custom domain by updating Hypeddit, we need to tell Facebook that the custom conversions that we want to use in our ads in the future should be looking out for our custom domain, because chances are whatever you've set up to date is just set up for Hypeddit. And actually, we're going to do it even better. We're going to set it up in a way that the domain doesn't even matter where it's coming from. All right. So where we're going to go next is the events manager, right? If again, I prepared some of this to make it a little bit faster for us to go through. But basically, if you click here, you go to your events manager and make sure you're in the right account using the right pixel, and then go to custom conversions here. And this is the new setup that I recommend for custom conversion. So instead of using a custom conversion on a per track basis or per campaign basis, I recommend to use custom conversions that are basically at an umbrella level and will work across all your different campaigns. And I'll show you what's inside. But you will notice here that I created a custom conversion to correspond to each key event that takes place on a Hypeddit download gate, link gate, or smart link, or a pre-release smart link, which will be a pre-save. So I have one custom conversion set up that can track all Hypeddit downloads on any of your gates. I have one custom conversion event set up that tracks all smart link visits, one custom event that tracks all smart link clicks, one that tracks all gate unlocks. The gate unlock is the event that fires if you use a link gate as opposed to a download gate. And then we have the smart link pre-save event, which fires if somebody goes to a pre-release smart link and pre-saves your music. And there's just one of those custom events basically for all the events that could ever come from any of those smart links or gates. So the way I'm setting this up is you go to create custom conversion. We'll name it, right? Let's name this here training, and let's say this is a smart link click. I want this to work for all smart link clicks. So it's really simple, right? All I got to do is select the data source. This has to be your pixel. Make sure it's your pixel, and then just choose the event. And in this particular case, it's going to be the smart link click, because that is what this is going to be the catch-all custom conversion that I want to use for smart link click. So all I got to do is use this conversion event. All right, pretty straightforward. I'm not going to use any other rules. So now I'm actually done with the settings and we can create and save this. Before I do, I just wanted to point out one thing. If you come to this drop-down window here, drop-down menu, and you are not seeing all the different events that you can potentially use with Hypeddit, then it's because you haven't recently triggered them, okay? So for example, let's say you come to this list and it does not show Hypeddit Smart Link pre-save in your list, or it does not show Hypeddit Linkgate Unlock, and you do want to set up custom conversions because you're planning to use those in the future, then all you have to do is go to your own smart links, your own pre-saves, your own link gates in Hypeddit, and trigger them, right? What I mean by trigger them is do the pre-save, do the link unlock, or click on the smart link so that Facebook is going to receive that event data, and then once it's received by Facebook, it will show up in this list. So you know, there might be sort of a 20-minute delay or something. If you don't see something here and you trigger it, don't hop back into Facebook right away, anticipating that you'll see it. You probably won't. But if you give it 20 minutes, it should show up here, right? So in this particular case, I actually did have the unlock wasn't showing up for me because I hadn't unlocked a link gate, or I hadn't had a fan unlock a link gate in quite a while. So I just went to one of my own link gates, unlocked it 2 times, 3 times, because I figured one of these events is gonna go through. And when I do this, I always do it in the Chrome browser with the Pixel Helper extension enabled. So I can always verify, hey, that event did fire, and now I just have to wait like 20 minutes for it to show up in Facebook. All right. So let me just look at my notes here. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything that is important, and then I wanted to make sure I communicate, but I think that's it. So once you've set up all your custom conversions for all the events that matter, and I recommend you do, you know, the download, the link click, the unlock, the pre-save. The visit is probably less important because you don't really optimize for it, but you know, it is an event that collects data. So I figured, you know, we have enough custom conversion event slots available, so I might as well use that as well. And you could obviously do the download gate visit or the link gate visit, or the, you know, those kinds of things as well here. So set all these up. Now, when you create these custom events, or these custom conversions, I should say. Sorry, custom event is the wrong term. These custom conversions, they will initially be empty, right? You won't have received any events in them because you just set them up, you just set the rules. So what you have to do before you can further utilize these is usually you have to trigger them. So once you set these up, you have to now trigger a smart link, trigger a download gate, trigger a pre-save, trigger a link gate, all of these things you want to trigger from your custom domain, right? So go into Hypeddit, make sure you open the smart link, not using the Hypeddit domain, but using your custom domain. This is usually pretty simple, because when you have, you know, when you've connected the custom domain, everything is automatically updated to the custom domain. So if I wanted to trigger this smart link here, for example, all I have to do is click the link. It's already, you know, double check it's on the custom domain, and all I'd have to do is, you know, click play here, and that would trigger it. I don't want to hop into Spotify right now because I want to, you know, stay on these tabs here. But it's as easy as that. So trigger it a couple times, and then come back into the events manager and make sure that the events received for each of those custom conversions is you know, at least one. Okay, so that way you can further utilize those. Okay, now that we have these custom conversions, and these custom conversions are something that we can use for all future campaigns, right? We are ready to take the next step. Let me just emphasize this though, because we did not use a URL rule in these custom conversions, we can use them for any campaign, right? So if I launch a track today and I want to have a smart link campaign optimized for smart link clicks, I'm going to use this custom conversion here, right? Smart link click. If I launch a track in a month from now and I want to run a campaign for that track and optimize for smart link clicks, I'm going to use the same custom conversion. And what Facebook does is Facebook just knows where the traffic that converted on a particular smart link came from, and it will only attribute the conversions to that campaign if the ads in that campaign drove the traffic. So you might be wondering, hey, is this going to screw up my stats? Because the custom conversion here will fire no matter which of my smart links gets clicked, right? And that is true for the summary information here, right? This triggers whenever any of your smart links is going to be triggered, but Facebook will only attribute the clicks that came from one of the ads to a campaign because it knows, basically it tracks the visitor from clicking on the ad to go into the smart link and then converting and clicking on it. So there's no downside to using this method. There's only upside because it basically declutters your custom conversions, makes it a lot easier because you don't have to manage a lot of similar ones, and your ad tracking still is maintained. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to go and tell Facebook in which priority we wanted to process these events. So what we're going to do is we go to the data sources, and Facebook launched this new tool here. It's called the Aggregated Event Measurement tool. What we have to do is we have to configure web events, and you see, I've experimented with like tons of different domains, but this is my DJ John Gold. So just click on it and then say Edit Events, and we want to go in it. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time here because this is important. So why do we have to do this, right? Or why is Facebook asking us for event priority? So Facebook said that as part of their privacy response to Apple, there might be certain situations in which they can only capture one event of a lead that came in through an ad. And Facebook is giving us the opportunity to say, hey, you tell me which one is the most important event that I should capture and record if I can only record one event, despite multiple events haven't taken place on the site. This is mostly relevant. I mean, it's relevant to us, but I'd say it's highly, highly relevant for people who do e-commerce, because there are so many different events. Usually you record when a potential customer comes to the website. You might have an event when they when they check out a specific product, an event when they add that product to cart, and then an event when they purchase, those kinds of things. And intuitively, if I said, you have those 4 events, which one is the most important one? You'd say the purchase event, because that is the most valuable conversion that you can have. And that's the mindset that we have to bring to the priority settings here for our own web events. So I have the John Gold domain. I use that obviously now for Hypeddit, but I'm also using this as part of my merch store, right? I sell merchandise. I have a merchandise store with Shopify. It uses my custom domain. So the event priority that you set here is not something purely related to Hypeddit. This is across all use that you have in play for your custom domain. And for me, the purchase is the most important event ever, right? That is how I generate revenue directly from my fans, whether somebody purchased music on my fan store or somebody purchased merchandise on that fan store. The purchase event goes first, okay? And behind it, I line up all the other events. And in my particular case, I really only use my domain with Shopify and with Hypeddit. There's no website, there's nothing else I record in terms of events or things fans could do on my domain. So that's why all the other slots here I'm using for Hypeddit. And I came up with a priority that puts the gates higher, and then the pre-save and then the link click is last. In most of these cases, these don't actually conflict, right? Because somebody who triggers a Hypeddit download because they downloaded a download gate obviously wouldn't have triggered one of the other events, right? They were in a download gate, so they couldn't have triggered a link click, they couldn't have triggered a pre-save, and they couldn't have triggered an unlock. So for Facebook, it is really easy because in most cases, only one of these valuable events takes place on a particular page. But Facebook didn't build this feature for, Hypeddit specifically. They built it for all advertisers, and they assume that some people might collect a lot of different events on the same page. Again, visited page, viewed product, added to cart, went into checkout, purchased, those kinds of things, where you track the behavior of a fan through many, many steps. The kind of music promotion that we do is so simple that we're not dealing with the same complexity. But you may disagree with this order. You may have other ideas in which you'd like to organize the priority. Again, chances are it doesn't make much of a difference, because most of our fans visiting a specific page, they won't be able to trigger multiple because they just don't exist on the same page. But it's very easy to drag and drop them around to change the priority if you like. And to add a new event, that's also pretty easy. All you do is click here, and then you do custom conversion, and then you pick the custom conversion that we just set up, right? They will eventually show up. If you go here and they haven't shown up, then that's because either you haven't triggered them yet, so the custom conversions haven't received an event from your custom domain, or you just need to give it more time. I have found that even though I had a custom domain triggered from an event of my custom domain, it didn't show up in here immediately. But once I waited like 30 minutes maybe, or sometimes I might have come back an hour, it showed up in here, right? Because I already have all the events in here, and this would just be duplicates, I'm not actually gonna add one. But this is how you just build out this list, right? Add as many events as you like. And what I recommend is that even though you're not running a download campaign right now, maybe you're not running a campaign to a link aid right now, do the setup at this point in time, because Facebook, again, has told us that if you come and reconfigure these web events here in the future, right, your campaigns and your ad sets might be paused for 72 hours for all these changes to take effect, is what they're saying here. If you do it now, before they are enforcing these new rules, there is no impact. And that's what we want, right? I wouldn't want to wait 72 hours just because, I eventually decide I want to run a download campaign and I never included the custom conversion for download in this list. So I really recommend just get it out of the way. Do it once for all the different event types. I know it takes a little work. I know, especially triggering your own downloads, your own unlocks, your own smart links, that takes a couple minutes, but it's just good to get it out of the way. All right. So now we are pretty much ready to update our campaigns, right? We have set up all the new custom conversions. We have obviously verified our domain, and we have made all these web event configurations here that Facebook wants us to do. So the next step is that we go into the ads manager, and now we're looking at our campaigns. Okay, this is a campaign I just started last night, so this is really fresh, and I just want to show you. It's a new track. I'm running a gay campaign, a link campaign, and basically what you do. Let me just go in here for your audiences, right? Make sure that the event you're using now is the custom conversion that we set up that is reflective of the event you want to optimize for. So this is the stream campaign, obviously, that optimizes for smart links, smart link clicks. And that's why I picked the Hypeddit smart link click custom conversion here. And you notice, because we did all these other setup steps, there is no orange warning anymore here. Now Facebook recognizes, okay, it's all based on this djjohngold.com domain now. And the advertiser has told us how to prioritize the events, and that's how basically now you're in full compliance with the new rules and the new setup. So this is how you set up and update the event at the ad set level. And by the way, I have other campaigns running that are older campaigns that were set up before all these changes. So all I did is I went into these campaigns, opened the ad sets, and updated the conversion event to this. So whether it is a new campaign you're launching and a new ad set you're creating, or whether it's an old campaign and an old ad set, the setting will always be the same. And you can obviously update your old ad set. Now, I have run a ton of campaigns over the lifetime of this ad account. I did not go into every campaign and updated this. I only updated my active campaigns, right? They are old campaigns that I ran months ago, maybe years ago, and you know, don't update stuff that is not relevant because you're not using it. Just focus your time and energy on updating what is live right now, and what and then obviously anything that you're launching in the future. Okay. And then we have to take a look at the ad level. So let's hop over into the ad level, and we'll go into the edit here. And what is important for the ad now, first of all, is that it sends users to our custom domain, right? So this is really easy to update because of this, you know, custom domain format that we use. Basically, what I did, if it's a new campaign, obviously you copy the correct smart link URL already. But if you're updating campaigns, you know, this would have looked like this, hypeddit.com. And so all I did is I went through all my campaigns, all my ads one by one, and I did a copy paste where I, I thought I had the music .dj John Gold on the clipboard. I didn't. Anyway, I'll discard this. But what I'm trying to say is, you don't have to worry about the link. You don't have to worry about the path or the ID of your smart link. All you have to do is come here and just replace hypeddit.com with your custom domain, and that's a really easy step to do. And then the other thing you want to do, which won't be relevant if you're setting up a new campaign, but if you're updating an old campaign, scroll down to the tracking and see whether under website events it says hypeddit.com. If it does, click in it and change it to djjohngold.com. Otherwise, you might still see one of those yellow warnings down here. But I said change to djjohngold. Obviously, you change it to the custom domain that you have. But you just want to make sure that for the website URL and in the tracking here, it shows your custom domain. And I'm going to discard the strap because I know I screwed up on the URL there. But that's basically it. So, yeah, if I just recap this real quick, we got a custom domain, or we already had a custom domain. You may already have a custom domain. We set up the custom, we verified it in Facebook. We set it up in Hypeddit. We created new custom conversions. We then set up the priority of those custom conversions in the Aggregated Events Measurement tool. And to do that, we had to trigger our own custom conversions a couple times. And then we updated our ads at the ad set level with the new custom conversions, and our ads with the new links to smart links, download gates, link gates, what have you, all on the custom domain. And we made sure that under tracking here, it also showed our custom domain. All right, that's it. And I know this is a lot. I know this is technical and involves so many steps. But I hope this was an overview that was a good breakdown that you could follow along. And this way you should have this set up in no time. Again, the good thing is you only have to do this once, right? This is not something that you have to deal with for every new campaign. The way I demoed this for you, and I recommend you do it with these custom conversions that are now sort of catch-all for all your future links. You're good to go. Okay. All right. With that said, guys, thanks again. Have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you all back again next week. All right. Cheers, everybody.